In life, if you're gonna talk the talk, you always have to learn to walk the walk. Unfortunately, these messages don't come across clearly to some players, coaches, and teams. They think before they talk and pay the consequences with utter embarrassment. There are a few things worse for an athlete than to make a promise that fails, but we've seen it so many times that it's hard to take some athletes seriously. End of story. I'm Justin Fraction, and today we bring you 10 of the biggest sports guarantees that failed, with the people who made them falling flat on their faces. Number 10. Mets players strike out with guess. After the Mets had an epic meltdown to conclude the 2007 season, some players thought they were bound for a huge comeback. In 2008, Carlos Beltran claimed his Mets were the team to beat. The only problem, an 89-73 record isn't bad, but they still narrowly missed the playoffs. The Philadelphia Phillies ended up capturing the NL East crown before winning the World Series that year. Then in 2009, Francisco Rodriguez said that his Mets were the team to beat. The Mets finished with a terrible 70-92 record, with the Phillies cruising to the NL East crown again and making it back to the World Series that year, before falling to the New York Yankees. The Mets went from 2007 to 2014 without making the playoffs, so these awful guarantees really made the franchise look bad for a number of years. At least they made it back to the World Series in 2015. Lesson 1. If you're calling yourselves the team to beat, maybe try making the playoffs first. Number 9. Kevin Smith fumbles away promise. The Detroit Lions came off a humiliating 0-16 2008 campaign, but running back Kevin Smith was optimistic about a turnaround. In fact, he was actually too optimistic. He said he would not make a guarantee about their win total, but did promise the Lions would make the playoffs. Well, he was off. If the Lions got to play 32 games, it still wouldn't have been enough to get them into the postseason. The Lions went 2-14 in 2009. Yes, they avoided a second straight winless season, and they didn't win one, but 2 games. Yes, 2. But I don't think any player in the history of the NFL would be able to take a winless team and turn them into a playoff squad just like that, but Smith thought so. Number 8. Anthony Smith's Steelers get burned. Smith was a 2-time Super Bowl champion with the Pittsburgh Steelers and Green Bay Packers, but everyone will remember him as the guy who made a failure of a guarantee. In 2007, the New England Patriots were the first team to ever go 16-0 in the regular season, before losing in Super Bowl 42 to the New York Giants. Smith's Steelers faced the 12-0 Patriots trying to end their run. Smith guaranteed a win, but he himself played awful, blowing many coverages and was even benched later on. The Patriots destroyed the Steelers 34-13, and Smith looked all around silly. In his defense, he said Pittsburgh would win if they came out and did what they'd have to do. And that obviously didn't happen. But still, it was a guarantee that only seemed to hurt the Steelers. Number 7. Jets guarantee runs out of fuel. Former New York Jets head coach Rex Ryan was known for being a loudmouth. He guaranteed win after win, said if he was the San Diego Chargers coach years earlier they would have won 2 titles, and said he wasn't here to kiss Bill Belichick's rings. Ryan was a great coach for a long-time struggling Jets team. He took them to the AFC Championship in his first 2 years, before falling to the Indianapolis Colts in 2009 and the Steelers in 2010. So what's the problem with accomplishing that feat? He promised a Super Bowl for the Jets within his first 2 years there. He'd be the Jets coach for 4 more years, but they never got back to the playoffs. Number 6. Beantown botch. The Los Angeles Lakers and Boston Celtics are the 2 franchises with the most championships in NBA history. The Magic Johnson and Larry Bird era gave fans something else for a long time. So, when the 2 teams faced off in the 2010 NBA Finals, fans were glorified. The 2 teams met in the 2008 Finals with the Celtics winning. Boston had a chance to pave a path for a dynasty. Paul Pierce and Glenn Davis guaranteed a championship in Boston, with Davis saying they'd finish the job in Boston after splitting the first 2 games in LA. Here is what happened. Kobe Bryant was kind of really good, and the Lakers would win the championship after all. That was it for the Celtics' big 3 of Pierce, Kevin Garnett, and Ray Allen, who failed to reach another finals together. Number 5. Mo Williams, no Cavalier in shining armor. LeBron James won championships with the Miami Heat in 2012 and 2013, and in both stints with the Cleveland Cavaliers, took them from an awful team into one of the league's elite franchises. Sadly, much of his legacy will be the shortcomings his Cavaliers had in his first run with them, failing to win a championship. You can thank Mo Williams for part of that. During the 2009 Eastern Conference Final, the Cavaliers had home advantage against the underdog Orlando Magic. Williams said that the Cavs would come back to win the series, but they actually went home in 6 games. Number 4, we want the ball and we're gonna score. The words that Seattle Seahawks legendary quarterback Matt Hasselbeck uttered before overtime in the 2003 NFC wildcard game against the Green Bay Packers. With the Seahawks winning the toss, Hasselbeck tried leading Seattle to victory, but he ate up his words after throwing a 52-yard pick six to Al Harris, sealing Hasselbeck and his team's fate. Number 3, Charles Barkley, you're wrong. NBA legend Charles Barkley did everything on the court except win an NBA championship. He said the following before his Phoenix Suns faced Michael Jordan's Chicago Bulls in the 1993 NBA Finals. God wants us to win the championship. I told Michael Jordan the other day that it was destiny for us to win. Sadly for Barkley, the Bulls won the series in 6 games. Number 2, ANDREJ KOMAC'S red card guarantee. ANDREJ KOMAC played for the Slovenian national team during the 2010 FIFA World Cup. Before a match against the USA, he said he would win the match because they were playing better football. Slovenia jumped out to a 2-0 lead, but they blew it. KOMAC didn't come in until the 90th minute, so it was mostly out of his control, but he couldn't have been more wrong. And number 1, not 2, not 3, not 4, not 5, not 6, not 7. Now that he's no longer with the Heat, it's easy to forget this. But LeBron James, after uniting a big 3 with Chris Bosh and Dwayne Wade, implied the Heat would win 8 titles with his new-look franchise. When asked how many they would win, he'd list off numbers and stop at not 7. He would win 2. What guarantee do you think failed most? Join us in the comments below. If you like this video and learned a thing or two, clicking the like button helps us out a ton and we appreciate it. If this is your first time coming around to Total Pro Sports though, subscribing is a great idea because we put out videos like this every single day. But as always, thank you so much for watching and we'll see you guys next time.